The way you can do me, the way you can do me, the way you can do me, the way you can do me. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. You get a side, get my side. Oh wow. Don't leave me for my side. Oh wow. Don't leave all this for my side. Oh wow. I get oh wow. All right, welcome to the show. Welcome, Talk TV Media Network. What in here to y'all? Y'all. Welcome to the show, Talk TV Media Network. Politics Friday. Today the 12th of August 2022. Yeah, welcome to the show. My name is Sam Gadu. To all our listening audience, all our online followers, welcome to the show. You know, this is going to be a very short segment today of the show discussing happenings in Liberia, around the world, here in the U.S., and also in West Africa. You know, what we are seeing that is happening in Sierra Leone, what is happening in Liberia, what is happening here in the U.S., is all things that we should be talking about. These are things that affect society. These are things that are affecting people's lives, you know, hard-earned struggle, life and stuff. Everything is vanished and gone just within seconds or minutes. You know, these are things we want to talk about today on the show. Normally, Friday show is just purely jam night, but today we're going to take a different turn here at Talk TV Media Network. You know, because the images that we are seeing coming out of Liberia and Sierra Leone are not good images at all for our people, for our audiences, you know, for our viewing. These are not images that are pleasant. And so as a result, we want to talk about them. We want to talk about what's happening, what just happened to Unity Party's chairman, home, you know, Reverend Luther Tape. A lot took place. You know, we woke up by saying arson, fire, and we want to know the role of the government. We want to see what is the government doing? Where is the police? What are they doing when it comes to what's happening? You know, when incidents like these occur in the country, especially with two national leaders, people that are national leaders, people want to know what the government's role is. People want to see the response of the government. And so we want to know what is happening, because if this can happen to leaders, people who are holding higher office and nothing is done, how much more the citizens of the country? Or are we going to go back to the days as in the president said that everyone should protect themselves? Is that the time? These are the things that are happening. We want to know, we want to hear what is happening. Uh, those images that we saw, and I'm going to put some of those images for our viewing audience on the platforms to be able to see. And these are things that should concern every well-meaning Liberian, every well-meaning citizen, you know, as well. And fast track with what we saw, the demonstrations we just saw this week, a couple of days ago, coming out of the capital of Freetown, Sierra Leone. Uh, Liberia has just closed door next door to see those images coming out that led to the lust of lives, people lives, you know, innocent lives. These are signals that the citizens that people are sending to their governments. They want to be heard. Do something as a government. Don't sit there. Do something. And as a result, Talk TV Media Network, this is where we bring you information, free, unbiased, fair reporting, what's happening that is affecting our communities, what's happening that's affecting people around the globe. We saw this week as well here, FBI raiding the home of the former president, Donald Trump, you know, and here, no one is above the law in America. I mean, there is a lot that takes place, but whether you're a former president or whatever, we saw a lot that took place, and the case is ongoing right now. We'll be giving you up-to-date information with regards to that as well. But I'm more interested, we want to go to Liberia tonight. We need to talk about what's happening in Liberia. These images that we saw today emanating out of Liberia. Let me bring them on the screen um, for our viewing audience. Just look at this. Someone hard blood, sweat, worked hard all their life, you know, to build this, and it's gone. They say this is awesome. It's fire. Fire break out, or a generator causes this. How can a generator just, you know, malfunction and burns the entire house and burn the vehicles, the main vehicles outside in the yard? How can a generator just fire do that? You know, these are things that are questionable. We want to know what's happening. Yeah, look at that. Fire all over the place and burn the house. Where is the fire service agency in Liberia? Is everybody left by themselves to fend for themselves, to do things their own way? And all these images that are coming out of there, I have not been able to see the fire department in Liberia on the spot. I haven't. Look at those images. Look at that. This is what I'm talking about, people. That's what I'm talking about. Those kind of images. Where's the fire department? I mean, those of us that live in the Western world, we know the response rate, what it takes. Just in 2 minutes, 10 minutes, just like that. The fire department will show up, the ambulance will show up, ambulances will show up, fire trucks will show up, to the aid of wherever the fire is coming from. But this entire house burns down in pieces with no fire service on the ground. I mean, we saw images and responses of the former vice president, who is the current chairman for Unity Party, Ambassador Joseph Numabwaka, visited the grounds, and he spoke how sad it was to see that happen. And it is believed, and watch my words, it is believed that individuals, thugs, criminals did this. Because I have a press release right here that was just for immediate release that just came from the Unity Party. And I'm going to try to read it for you guys, for our listening audience as well, because this is scary, to see this happening out of Liberia, and we need to hold together, to be able to do stuff together, to work together. I have a press release, and I'm going to read it for our viewing audience that just came to me. This is what the Unity Party came up with, for immediate release. Reported government hire arsonist attacked Unity Party chairman home days after armed men believed to be agents of the ruling coalition for democratic change tell the vehicle of the chairman and party executives to identify locations of their homes. Right? Pinsville, Liberia, August 12th. Unity Party has learned that with great despair, as well planned and orchestrated attack against the home of its chairman, Dr. Luther Topper, early Thursday morning at about 1 a.m. in Pinsville. The attackers believed to be operatives of the government of Liberia several petrol through several petrol bombs during the early hours of August 12th in defense of Chairman Luther Tappe, which is believed to have led to the fire. One of the houses and a Mitsubishi SUV in the fence got burned to ashes as a result of the arson. One of Chairman Tappe's sons is currently taking treatment due to severe burns. Yes, someone is injured. The man's, son is hurt. Other family members are so far safe. The party is in the process of submitting a formal complaint of several targeted attacks against its leaders by operatives of the ruling party. The Unity Party feared democratic gains made during her stewardship of Liberia has significantly retrogressed under the CDC-led government, as the bad memory of Liberia's dark days are again surfacing, where opposition leaders and critical voices in the country are constantly harassed, humiliated, and in some instances found dead with no outcomes of government announced investigations. While the party calls on its partisans and the Liberian populace to remain calm as further investigations are underway, Unity Party wants to reiterate that it will not condone unwarranted and senseless attacks against its leaders, partisans, and the people of Liberia as we move forward to the 2023 legislative and presidential elections. The Unity Party calls on all of its partisans, supporters, and Liberians at large to be vigilant and calm as the party is committed to providing a responsible, peaceful, and democratic leadership for all Liberians. This is from the Bureau of Affairs, Public Affairs, from the Unity Party. That's a mature statement. But if people from the government side, from supporters and thugs from the CDC, if it is true, are the one that caused this is scary. What is happening here? Are they trying to create fear or handicap the opposition or put fear in the minds of people? Elections are not even close. The elections are next year. And this kind of stuff is happening. And the government must be held responsible because the job of the government is to protect its citizens. This is true. This is the laws of the land. This is a constitution. If these people, begin to protect themselves and take up arms or whatsoever, we might end up into a pariah state. That's what's happening. Violence and paramilitary groups are being created. Just recently, we saw the reaction of what's happening with this kind of stuff. Now, people are wondering, Yeke, Representative Yeke Kalba is probably doing the right thing by recruiting and equipping people to protect themselves and protect, opposition leaders. If the people of the citizens of the country lose hope in government, that's a problem. That is the problem. And we are here as critical voices using this medium, this platform, to talk to our leaders. Our leaders must pay attention, because what we saw, if you cannot pay attention and curtail these kind of things and deal with them accordingly, the example is not far. Look at just what happened next door to Sierra Leone. It's not far. Just a few weeks ago, July 26th, we saw another, maltreatment of protesters from SOUP, the University of Liberia. Students humiliated, attacked. That investigation, quote unquote, is still ongoing. We want to know what's happening because it's scary. It's alarming. Very much so alarming. Look at those images, man. Look, you know what it costs to build a house in Liberia? Look at this. You know what it takes? This is a lot of money. Look at that house. This is, first story, second story, all of that. This man has not worked in government. What first time for him to get a position as a party chairman, and he's attacked. He become a focal point. He become a public enemy. Is this how we're going to develop the country? Liberia cannot be developed like this, my people. This is not how we develop a nation. And I'm sending and appealing to the government of Liberia. President Weah, if you are listening, the ministers, if you are listening, Minister of Justice, Police Director, if you're listening, Liberia and Liberians cannot afford going back to the days of 14, 15 years of war. Nobody wants that. This generation, our generation and the generations to come, we must put our foot down to making sure that we make Liberia what it ought to be. Peaceful, vibrant, productive. That's what we must do. That's what we must do. We must look for a better future. We must create a society where the citizens feel safe, secure, where they have a little bit of trust in government. That is what we need. That is what we need. I'm here in America. I have my vehicle sleep outside. Nobody's going to touch it. They sleep because while the government provides safety and security, the environment is I have confidence and trust in the environment. You can't do that. You get a car parked in your own yard outside, you lay down to sleep inside just to protect it. Stay Zogos or somebody will try to come steal. Why are you in the car trying to sleep? That's not what we need. We're better than that as a people. And a lot of us as entrepreneurs, investors wants to come and be able to invest in our country. But if we see violence taking place unaccounted for, and people are not being persecuted, that is alarming. That is scary. Scary. Just recently, I think a month or two ago, right to Capitol Bypass area at 2 a.m. in the morning, someone was killed by a member of law enforcement officer. What's the outcome of that? All of these things are happening. But to see this, who knew if Dr. Tope was in the house, what the intent was? What the intent was if he was caught in a house. Because if they can do this to the man's property, how much more? His life is on the line. And what has he done to deserve that? This is what we do at Talk TV Media Network. If it is wrong, we call it wrong. If it is right, we pursue the government. It is right, we tell you it's good. Because we are the voice for the voiceless. We don't take sides. We don't take sides. Talk TV is like a twin mother. A mother that has two twins, two babies. When the baby is crying, we'll take care of that one. When this one's sleeping, we put them to bed. But we love them. So yes, we're in between. When it is against the citizens and it's uncalled for, we alarm, we talk about it. If you, the government, you're doing your role right, we praise you. We point it out too. We bring it out. That's what we do as an independent network because we're not a political organization or media outlet like some media sycophants, you know, platforms that we see around. We are a platform that when it is wrong, it is wrong. There's nowhere people will go and burn someone's house down, and you cannot tell me that you cannot investigate and apprehend those people by now. They should be in custody by now, right? They should. They should be in custody at this particular point. They should. If you live in a society where violence and lawlessness becomes the order of the day, you know what happened? Only the strong man survives in that kind of a society. And we don't want Liberia to be like that no more because we tested that and it never worked for us. We tested that for 14, 15 years. It never worked. Where violence becomes the order of the day. No. We tested that. We don't like it. Yeah. You know? And until investigation is done, until the police and the police director can come up and tell us what happened. And you need to treat people honest and fair. If this was Minister Magay's home, if this was Minister Samuel Tour's home, will it be taken care of right away? Will we be hearing results right now? Some information? Police investigating? Well, could it be that, okay, maybe we're going to see fire police, fire trucks over there, just like that? But that place was put off with no fire police or fire trucks showing up. So the disparities between the lines are so visible, so clear. The dichotomy between those two, that if it is an official of government, official of CDC-led government, quick investigations done. If it is on the opposition side. But this is where I come in with a serious advice. Whether you're on the opposition or you're not, or you're in between, the common denominator here is we are all Liberians. And Liberia is all that matters. And it should be our job to be our neighbor's keeper. It is our job to protect each other as Liberians because we are all Liberians. Liberia is all we have. You must take responsibility to protect your neighbor. Be your neighbor's keeper. That's what you do. And this is why some of these communities in Liberia have vigilantes groups at night. That's why. Because I just came from Liberia and I used to travel in the middle of the night and I would see these vigilantes in communities and stuff. I was like, these were the days of the war, when stuff. But now I'm beginning to see why it makes sense for this. Because if something strange is happening in a community or someone strange is coming or a criminal, they're going to track you down and get you out. Or if you see these vigilantes at night and you're coming in to commit a crime in a particular community, you're going to run. You're going to find your way out some way, somehow. So they are necessary. I'm beginning to see wisdom into it. Be your neighbor's keeper. Be your neighbor's keeper. Anyway, what happened in Sierra Leone as well is not a good image at all. If you look at this, I'm going to put that on the screen. Look at this demonstration that led to a loss of lives. Ridiculous. If the people, this is my point, if the government failed the people, this is what happened. The people will take to the street. And if the people take to the street, there is chaos, there is lawlessness, It's mayhem. That's what happens. That's Sierra Leone. My people, where are we going? Where are we heading? Where are we heading? As a people, as a nation, as a neighboring country, where are we heading? That's what I have to say when it comes to that. But a word for the wise is quite sufficient. But I will tell you this. Another issue that I want to talk about is what just happened here these few days. You know, the home of former President Donald Trump was invaded, searched by agents, security of all security apart, FBI agents. It was searched, while he was away. And no one could believe that a former president would be treated like that. But when you see the developments of the story of what's happening, then you realize America is a great country. That it doesn't matter who you are. If they are coming for you, they're coming for you. You can be a billionaire, you can have all your money and stuff like that. The government believed they were very tight-lipped, very, very tight-lipped, that the former president had taken some important documents. Very, very important. Documents that he should not have taken when his time was over. But what people don't realize is, I was discussing this, is normally when you see a transfer of power taking place in a nation, one is defeated, everybody goes to the polls, and one is defeated, and then there is another, the incumbent is right there, and the one transferring power is right there. We never get to see that during Joe Biden's transfer. In fact, President Trump didn't go. He didn't show up. President Trump did not show up. He did not. So he wasn't there for the transfer of power. That was very interesting to have seen that. I see my colleague is Joy, I'm glad you made it. Let me see. How are you, man? How are you? How are you? Welcome to the show, Talk TV Media Network. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm talking about the legal ramification what took place just a few days ago here at in Florida. Is it Florida? At former President Donald Trump's home, Mar-a-Lago. And I'm sitting down thinking the things that led to that. FBI agents searched for classified documents related to nuclear weapons at Donald Trump's Florida resort. Yeah, that's what happened. And a lot of the Republican leaders were very swift. They didn't know the details of this stuff of the search, and they started criticizing and the FBI and all of that. And then now that the information is about to be leaked, made public, it's taking different turn. They're quiet now. They're quiet. So the thing here is, what I'm looking at in this whole thing is, wow. When I look at the days of Bill Clinton, with what happened with Monica Lewinsky, having lying to the law, to law enforcement and stuff, and how he was being persecuted and all of that stuff, I realized that the system works. And when the system works, the people benefit. There is peace. Then people realize that no one is above the law, right? It just worked for everybody. There is
Hmm.
peace, there's safety because the system worked. And the reason why we are seeing what's happening, the breakdown right now in Liberia, the breakdown in Sierra Leone is because the system is not working.
Yes.
The system is not working for its people.
Yes.
What's your take? Well, what
Uh,
happened? Because
I
obviously,
do
with
ag-
all these issues,
I do agree with you, and I think your analogy is a very good analogy, especially looking at the Trump and Liberia situation. So while it is true that Trump is a political opponent, but you will realize that the Justice Department is using the law objectively.
mm-hmm,
So both parties on all sides, the politicians will argue, they will debate it, they will talk, cause all the noise. But the fact that it is within the confines of the law,
of the
it
law,
becomes difficult for anyone to fight it. That's the point. And another thing about it is that when they do these kind of investigations, they don't only do these kind of investigations um, to say only the opponent, but even people who have been Democrats have also been investigated for breaches of classified information.
right?
So yeah, so it becomes difficult for anyone to say, okay, they have been biased or they have been selective, no matter what the arguments are. Now, in Liberia, what we have in Liberia is we have a pattern of violations, no logical conclusion of the investigations. The police is complicit in most of these investigations.
Mm-hmm.
The commander in chief himself, which is the president of the Republic of Liberia, many times he respond very late. For example, you saw the boy who was burned, the boy who was tortured in the broad daylight, and everybody saw it went international, and you could see that. Now, nobody would expect that the president would have taken a long time to respond to such a situation. Now, in a country where you have a sound legal system and justice system, they will respond immediately. And then you can see how they'll be on top of issues. And so in Liberia, what we have is we have a dysfunctional police force. You really don't have a police in Liberia. I can tell anybody for that. Although I'm a Liberian lawyer, I can say that. We really don't have a police system in place. So anybody can run the police system. Anybody can direct the police system where you want to be. All you need is to just be in power. Once you are in power, you have a privileged position, you direct the police what to do. So because of that kind of situation, it becomes difficult for anyone to trust the police. And to be, it's so unfortunate that Omio invested so much in the police reform. I can
Yeah,
remember
a lot of
so
money in
much
the security
reform, the
apparatus.
development of standards, the development of policies. I knew how they try to make sure that the police become independent. Because when the police become independent, it can help the country. It can really, really protect the country from all these kind of situations. But when the police is compromised, then it becomes a difficult situation for anybody to be able to discuss. You
Right?
see? So like in this situation, the fire service, you call fire services. Fire service tell you say we don't have how to call it. We don't have gasoline. We don't have water. They don't even make any attempt to say, okay, let's go on the scene. Even providing technical expertise. Forget about you having a fire truck, just going on the scene and trying to tell people what to do because you guys are trained for that. That alone will tell all that you, as a government, you are showing some responsibility. But
Yeah.
to tell the man on the phone and say, hey, we don't have this, you can do what you can do, it just tell you totally that you really don't have a security system into place. And
And
it's so
and
sad.
and 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 Joel, just to help our viewers, especially those in Liberia, if you know someone who is shipping to Liberia or whatever coming, or go to a store, buy yourself a fire extinguisher. Have it in your house. Because if this is so true, if this was just some fire that starts from a generator and stuff like that, you can easily grab your fire extinguisher
Yeah,
and put it off.
yeah.
But it's becoming from the press release I just read, that came in. I mean, this is a this is a hit.
In fact, the Reverend
It's a hit
clarified that
crime. It's a hit
his
and run.
generator was not on at the time. The generator was not on. His generator
And
was not on.
we can't wait. I can't wait for Dr. Tapper to come up. Let him tell us, the public, what happened. You know, we're able to see the images of videos and recordings of the former vice president visiting his own home. But I mean, it's scary to the point as in, what if this was any of the CDC hierarchy, what would have done taken place?
Yeah, you will have a rapid response. You have a rapid response. That's what you will
Yeah,
have. That's the point. And and
you
and
know.
and let's be very realistic. And those of you who listening to us, whether you're in Nimba, whether you're in Lofa, whether you're in Grand Bassa, I have followed a lot of these incidents before. I saw when Unity Party did things to CDC. I've always said things, I say outrightly. Now I know someone will say we should not run into conclusion, but here's my problem. For me, I'm not making a decision on the basis of just I'm seeing a pattern here. There's a pattern. These things have shown pattern. We saw the issue of the boy and how the government addressed it. And we see how they're even addressing the issue of the boy who was tortured in broad daylight. We
Yeah.
saw the issue, yeah, we saw the issue of Yuri's daughter during her political campaign. We saw how things have been going there. And we've been watching the issue of
We
these
saw, we saw,
activists.
not to even cut you off, Joel,
Yeah,
District number 13, Cornelia Crow Togba.
yes. And that's a pattern. So when you see that kind of pattern, then it tells you, and most of the groups that have been doing that have always been pro government groups. Now, when you
False
having pro
conditions.
government,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're having pro government groups taking these kind of actions, and the government is complicit and not really being immediate and taking real decisive actions, then yes, the government be held responsible. I'm not going to shy away from saying that anyway. I'm
No,
not
but
going to
if
shy.
anything happens, you and I
Yeah,
are fathers, right? Parents.
yeah,
If anything happens in your home right there
yeah.
where you at, anything that
Mhm.
happens, and police shows up at the door, who is the first person they will ask? You.
They ask for
Where
me.
is the man in his home?
They ask for me.
Yeah, if it is any, that's what happens. That's
That's
it.
it.
That's the fact. So the
Yeah.
man in the home, in our home, Liberia, is none other but the one that Liberians elected,
Yes.
Dr. Weir.
Yes.
You are the man, so you must take responsibility when it's bad, take it. When it's good,
Yes.
take it. But as a father of the nation, you got to step up. The agencies
Yes.
that you put in place needs to be swept.
Yes. In fact, it's a core responsibility of the office of the president. That's what you're president for. Your TORO includes national security. Now they can say head of state,
Yeah,
commander in chief.
yeah.
Those titles are not just given because they want to give you them, because you have functions to play. So
And
when you when
the pledge that you make when you're taking the oath of office, I
yes,
pledge to defend this nation and its
you know,
citizens.
you know. And for me, I can for sure say this. This is problematic. Nobody should support it. I'm not a member of the Unity Party. I have never been a member of the CDC, but I remember when they had these incidents before, I really talked against them, and so I'm not really afraid saying anything about it. I think these patterns show that the government is complicit, with
Complacent.
very complicit with these incidents that are taking place. Why do I believe they are complicit? Number one, we are not seeing any real action, solid action. The legal system is also being compromised with all of the
Besides,
processes.
the only action we're looking at is condemning. I mean, reading written
Yeah,
statements.
rating system, that cannot be that. We cannot continue that for almost 6 years. You have a responsibility, you have a duty. You can't continue doing that. As a government. And all of you that are in Liberia, we suffer. We all suffer in Liberia. We know what we went through in the Liberia, the civil war. Our children are growing up, and I always tell people. I know sometimes we say there will be no more war in Liberia, but I sometimes laugh. And the reason why I laugh is because we are going to go away from the scene. There's those all who were affected by the war. They will come at time our generation will be out.
Right?
If we are not working on system and putting processes into place to prevent it, the children will do the same old thing because they did not see any system. They see what we are. We just not have no action, and they will have the same problem, whether 30 or 40 years later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nobody should maybe honor say, oh, no. We are going to face away. The children are growing up. They are seeing all of this happening. The young people are growing up. We have a lot of energy. If we cannot stand and say, hey, and hold our government accountable or our officials accountable, then it's a problem. It's a
It is
problem.
a
But I,
problem.
I don't support what they are doing. I don't support the issue of targeting political leaders because I know where it's going to end. I can tell you where it's going to
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, but it's not just that history. History will repeat itself,
Yeah,
and we don't want history to repeat itself because the evidence is there when you target political leaders, opposition. And as a leader, this is one thing you should welcome: an opposition, someone who's thinking different from you, and you use that thought, you use their ideas to make yourself better. That's the essence of having an opposition.
that's it.
That's the importance of listening to a second opinion, a different opinion. In the
That's it.
first place, if everybody is in the room and say yeah, 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 whatever you say, yeah, yeah, then you're in the wrong place, man. I mean, they're gonna crucify you. You will not even know.
Yes.
But if someone is there to say, hey, hold on, put a break to that, you know,
Yes.
that means it's important. That's a healthy environment. That's healthy. That's good. And our leaders need to listen to the opposition to what they are saying, what's happening as well. Because now when you're a leader not for a particular group, you're a leader for the entire nation. You're a leader for the opposition, you're a leader for everybody. So you got to broaden your scope of reasoning, your thought process and ways of doing things. This is not your own elephant meat anymore. This is the country's, everyone's elephant meat. So you got to work for it in the best interest of the Liberian people. And
Yeah,
our
that's it,
law
man.
enforcement
That's it.
officers need to step up because if these
Yeah.
kind of things are happening, it's going to bring a lot of fear. And when fear grips a nation, it's not good.
Yeah, but in fact, I think there's a recent report. Maybe you'll talk about it another time. There was a recent report released on the investment climate in Liberia. I think the U.S. report. I saw it in Front Page Africa, and these are some of the issues there. These are the very issues: the
Yeah.
corruption, the compromises, and the different thing in the system. So that's killing the country. Like I said, we saw what happened in Sierra Leone. All right. Now I don't pray for it to happen in Liberia, but human being nothing but human being. And when people get angry, it becomes a problem. We saw how the police responds. Currently, we don't really have any sufficient police force in Liberia to respond to real violence. We don't have it. We don't have that structure into place. So
No.
if you continue to provoke civilians to a point where they reach their climax, then it's going to turn violent, which is not good for the country. You see, so that is why we all need to condemn it. People need to discuss ideas. You can't be targeting, get your surrogates and your how to call it, your paramilitary groups. They are here targeting all around the country. Those paramilitary groups that you guys have established around the country. One of the first action I need to see the government doing, disbanding all paramilitary groups. That's what they need to be doing now. Whether a social political party, they need to disband all paramilitary. That's serious action. Those are serious action I want to see from the
Yeah.
government. Paramilitary groups in political parties, you need to ban them. We need to stop them because if you continue having the paramilitary groups, they will become a problem. That's what is happening now. That's what is happening now. And most of the
But
young guys, they have
remember,
nothing
we
else to
discussed
to
this
do.
when you and I discussed this during the Lofa County senatorial election
Exactly
when
so.
we
Yeah.
saw what was happening in Foya,
Yes.
with all those paramilitary groups, and we
Yes.
discussed that, and
Yes.
we literally saw what happened there. That
Yes.
was just a senatorial election.
Yes.
How much more now? The general election.
In fact, from what I see, the pattern I'm seeing, CDC is institutionalizing paramilitary groups. I can clear cut the government of Liberia with no fear or favor. I can tell you now, they have institutionalized the use of paramilitary groups to carry on operation for them. And what's the evidence? For example, you cite the Lofa incident as an example. You
Mhm.
can cite the incident with your daughter. You can cite the incident with how they call the boy Cecilu, the boy who just was tortured. Those are all evidence of paramilitary group. Now, let me just give some of you guys a little background. When you saw during the war, when Omdio came, they carry on what they call DD Arrow Arrow. All right. This integration, demobilization, rehabilitation, reintegration. Now, the two DD, they were very crucial. And why were they crucial? Because when you have those elements around operating as security guys, then it become a threat to the security of the state. So
Hmm.
the same applies to the issue of paramilitary groups. When you are mobilizing paramilitary groups, they become a threat to the national security of the state. So what CDC is doing here, and I'm not saying that with fear, the facts are there. What I see them doing here is they are like undoing what Omeo did by demobilizing those groups. So now they are creating these smaller groups. So at the end of the day, what you're going to have is the opposition political party is going to have their part of groups. You're going to have all people having different groups. Then the whole country is going to enter into a civil against terrorism. That's what you're
Chaos.
going to have.
Complete
And
chaos.
that's going to be chaotic, brothers and sisters. So we need to really see as Liberians, our government need to really say, hey, and stand up and be able to stop all these things that are happening. I don't think it's good for our country. It's not really good for the country. You
That
know,
is not a good idea
you
as
know.
at all. It's the job of the government to protect its citizens. But if the citizens are forming themselves in groups to protect themselves, and in between, you go find out some of them have in possession of guns and stuff. It turns into something else.
Yes, exactly. So
When police shows up and there is gunfire somewhere and some people die, they say police are the only one that are allowed to carry guns. They are the one that shot.
in fact, what I learned, I think I read one of the reports that when it comes to even the recruitment of the police and the special security forces behind the president, that they are no longer looking at a lot of things they are not considering. They just take you and put you there. Especially when once you support the president, regardless of whatever it is, you get on board. That's what they are doing now. Now, those are things that are dangerous, very, very dangerous. When you start to recruit people into the police for without no standards, just because they support your political agenda or whatever, then we are heading in the wrong direction.
Mm.
We're heading in the wrong direction.
Folks, as these developments unfold out of Liberia, we'll be here tomorrow during our regular weekly broadcast at 1 p.m. Liberian, non-Liberian time, Central Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Liberian time. We'll be here to be able to talk politics, weekly recap. There's this and more. Uh, as you see, news is flowing in 24/7, just like that, fluid. Things are just happening. So we'll be here to give you a complete recap of events that took place during the week here tomorrow. Share the link, follow us, subscribe, and be a part of the show here at Talk TV. We'll bring you uh, information as it is, free, fair, unbiased. Talk TV Media Network. Those of you who are following us, thank you for following us. Thank you for sharing. Without you, we would not be able to do what we do here best. Um, so this was just an update as to what took place today in Liberia, and we hope that the government of Liberia will bring those perpetrators to justice swiftly, and that by this time tomorrow we'll hear good news. We'll hear the government position on what happened on Dr. Topper's home, because we do not want this happening to any other citizen, any one Liberian. Period. Period.
Yeah. I think the government is complicit. The response is weak. They very late. They're not showing responsibility. And I think people who may want to say, oh no, don't hold the government. No, the government is responsible because why the government has to provide security for people. And the CIDs, they have to be trained. We need to see some of the things I don't really see all of these things that are happening. I don't see the training of the investigators to see what they are doing and all. Nothing I see really. When you see the response, when government is taking charge of the situation and they can reach it to logical conclusion and you defend them, they have a point. Then you have a point. But when you are not reaching the issue to logical conclusion, there's a problem. There's a problem.
I mean, it didn't happen to soup. It took the government 1 week before the
Yeah, to
president could
respond.
react with the mountain. It has to be a lot of mountain pressure from the
Yeah, to
international
respond.
community and
Yeah,
all media
yeah,
platforms.
yeah. And, and,
You
and,
know,
and responsible government who know the implication of that. You want to respond in less than 24 hours. You are already on top of the case. You are moving there. I read in the newspaper, in fact, that the police were not able to gather the video that was showing the guys that were involved and whatever that. And because of that, the prosecutor could not go forward. They had to postpone the trial. Now all of that are gains. That's gains. that's not new to me. Those of you, I don't know who is new to, but those are the usual tactics and games that the justice system in Liberia always play. Even when there's evidence, even when there's glaring evidence, they're going to ignore it, And so that's nothing new. And those of you who really think that the government Liberia should not be held responsible, you have to accept you are a K. But all of us who really experienced the war and saw what happened between the 1980s, coming to early time, you know what's happening, man. Deep down your heart, you know what's happening. You can't be continuing saying that and say, oh no, you have to speak out. This is not new, man. It's not new to anybody, you know. So that's my little advice, about what I see. The government had to step out. 2023, no. For me, the major recommendation is disband all paramilitary group. All paramilitary group, whether CDC, whether Unity Party, the government must disband it, and we must see sincere disband. We must see at the political gatherings of the CDC, no paramilitary group, and we see it across the board. That's one of the major policy decisions I want to see. Then I will not hold the government responsible. But once I'm seeing the government groups are having paramilitary groups around the country, then I will hold them responsible. Mhm.
Well, we'll be able to discuss this more tomorrow here on this
Yeah,
platform. A lot of what's
yeah,
taking place, what's happening for our viewing audience. This is just a taste of what's happening in the country. So tomorrow we'll be able to bring you more of this information. Uh, Joy, man. Tell the family I love them, man. Praying for them. I hope everything goes fine. I'll catch you tomorrow, same time.
okay, all right. God bless you, and hey, guys, have a great time. Let's pray for Liberia. Let's be kind. Say the truth. Don't be afraid. Don't backbite. I know we all get political, here and there, but we have to speak out. We have no other country, only Liberia. For me, I really don't want to
Yeah,
be hearing any kind of
yeah.
news. You know. Thank you.
All right, folks. There you have it. Don't leave till you watch this promo. Until then, right after this promo, we take leave of you.